Historific. History made easy. Today, we will be talking about Edmund Burke. Let's start off by talking about Burke's view on the state of nature. Edmund Burke believed that people are social by nature. Because of this, he rejected all other politicians' theories on the origins of society that were based on a primitive state of nature. Other philosophers, such as Richard Price, believed that people should try to create an ideal society where everyone is equal, and that differences in nationality, race, and gender are only obstacles to social harmony. However, Burke strongly opposed this belief in his opinion by stating, "Art is man's nature," believing that real men were not abstract men, but instead had distinctive identities. He believed that we begin our public affections in our families, and then we pass it on to our neighborhoods, and that men are imperfect creatures subject to the whims of passion. Next, we'll look at Burke's view on the social contract. Burke's view on the social contract was that it was a partnership in all respects. However, he emphasized that his partnership was between the dead, living, and unborn. Burke's view on the social contract is derived from his belief that good government is a gift from God, and thus that morality and government cannot be separated. He believed that people, such as the French revolutionists, should not selfishly fight for freedoms to only benefit their present generation, or naively ignore the lessons of their past. In his reflections on the revolution in France, he states that the social contract is a partnership in all science, a partnership in all art, and a partnership in every virtue, and in all perfection. As the ends of such a partnership cannot be obtained in many generations, it becomes a partnership not only between those who are living, but between those who are living, those who are dead, and those who are to be born. Next, we're going to talk about Burke's view on the relationship between the individual and the government. Burke felt that because the government is the only agency who had legal use of force, they are allowed to use this force to strip away the civil liberties of certain individuals of the population. Burke wrote that those whose operations can take from or add 10% to the possession of every man in France must be the masters of every man in France, meaning that individuals who are empowered through the government often act with respect to their own self-interest. Therefore, he felt that the government often exploited their people, which led to his disbelief in democracy, since the government is only as good as the people that run it. Moreover, Burke believed that the government should be a cooperative relationship between rulers and subjects, but that traditions from the past should not entirely be abolished. Now, what did Burke believe was the best form of government? Burke viewed democracy as a threat to social stability and considered governmental conventions as spiritually based and not to be tampered with. He consistently doubted the merits of democracy, as he found the general public not qualified to exercise power and too willing to tyrannize the minority. Therefore, he felt that democracy was a troubling form of government compared to oligarchy and despotism, as the damage that a tyrannical majority can do is way worse than that of a single tyrant. He also believed that the church and state were inseparable in a spiritual sense, and that they are both derived from God. Due to his strong belief of the connection between the government and its spiritual base, he felt that the government finds its authority not on a social contract, but on virtuous principles. Now we're going to examine Burke's view on morals and the value of freedom. Burke's values were the product of the religious traditions of Christianity and natural law. His statement, "The principles of true politics are those of morality enlarged," reveals that his political theories branched from ethics. Burke himself valued the British virtues of continuity, tradition, rank, and property. However, he also had liberalist views and freedom, but only if they supported the transgenerational partnership he describes in his theory on the social contract. Burke strongly opposed the French Revolution, for he felt that they were being irrational and greedy for their generation, but he supported the American revolutionists' plight for freedom. Let's discuss the philosophers with similar or opposing ideas. Burke's views were challenged by Thomas Paine, who argued in favor of the French Revolution in his book Rights of Man. He sided with Rousseau, who believed that man is born free, but everywhere he is in chains, and that human nature needed freedom, unless lack of it would support the greater good. Therefore, Paine, unlike Burke, really supported democracy as the best form of government. However, it is clear that Burke's views heavily contrasted with this, as he disagreed with the idea of abstract men, and that a man's freedom is influenced by his past and its context. For the French Revolution, Paine saw it as a sign of progress since it represented a shift to radical liberalism, and that an enlightened democracy is the only way to govern a nation. On the other hand, Edmund Burke disdained the French Revolution due to its disregard to tradition, as it destroyed the power of the throne. As the father of classical conservatism, Burke emphasized the need for stability and felt that the revolution would only bring violence, terror, and social instability. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, why am I using this terribly flawed app to discuss Edmund Burke with you? So this will lead into my discussion of the significance of Edmund Burke. Now, Burke, like many philosophers, or philosophes, had many critics, but his impact on modern society is not debatable. His arguments for long-lived constitutional conventions, political parties, and the independence of an MP once elected still carry weight today. He is regarded by many as one of the founders of British conservative tradition, which has helped to shape the political systems in many democratic nations around the world. The end.